Do you wake in the morning feeling stiff and sore? Or maybe you feel like that all day long? Are you struggling with arthritis and haven't really found a way to decrease the pain? Sometimes we're not really looking in the right places. And so today we're going to discuss what that might look like. My name is Marcy Vasky. I'm a functional medicine nutritionist specializing in gut health. And I see a lot of clients that struggle with bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, and that is really just to name a few. And so if that sounds like you, or maybe even someone you know and love, I will link to our website where you can easily make an initial appointment. Or if you're the kind of person who likes to get started on their own, I will also link our free guide, which is 5 ways to improve gut health. So let's dig into today's topic. So today we are going to explore 5 foods to decrease inflammation and arthritis. Now, it's sometimes good to have inflammation, right? Inflammation is both good and bad. So let's start off with inflammation. Now, inflammation can be both good and bad. Inflammation is there to actually protect us from helping our body defend from injury or infection. But if there's chronic inflammation going on in your body, that's where disease comes from. And things that increase that inflammation can look like stress, chronic stress, things like foods that might be inflaming you. And so first we're going to run through foods that we want to get rid of that might be causing inflammation and increasing this pain in our body. And then we're going to run through some foods that are going to be things you can replace them with. Healthy foods that are going to decrease inflammation and arthritis pain for you. So foods that might be increasing inflammation and arthritis pain for you are going to be things like those ultra-processed foods, fast foods, frozen meals, processed meats possibly. And what happens is that they increase a higher level of inflammatory markers in our body, which is called a CRP. And also things like fried foods, partially hydrogenated oils that contain trans fats. Those trans fats can damage our cell membranes even. And they have been linked through research to increase inflammation in our body. Other foods that are going to increase inflammation and arthritic pain are going to be sugars. So adding in more refined sugars in your diet. So if you're eating refined carbohydrates, that can cause inflammation. And you may have noticed that when you're kind of eating some of those ultra-processed foods or maybe eating more sugar, you start to feel like your joints get sore or they feel more inflamed. And that's a direct correlation to what you're eating. So just to kind of sum that up, things that increase inflammation or foods that increase inflammation and arthritic pain are going to be processed foods, things like refined carbohydrates, so white breads, white rice, crackers, biscuits, things of that nature, or fried foods, so those French fries, cheese curds, fried foods, you name it, right? Or sugar-sweetened beverages. And sometimes, let's just say pop, right? Because soda is really hard to get rid of, and once we kind of get on that train of the soda pop train, then we increase inflammation in our body with all the processed sugars that are in it or refined sugars. Also things like processed meats, so hot dogs or ham, for example. Also those trans fats that I mentioned earlier, so things like shortenings or margarine. Now what's fun is that there are foods that can decrease your inflammation. So we kind of talked about the things that are going to increase your inflammation. And now what we want to really focus on are what can we eat to decrease our inflammation and arthritic pain in our body. So I'm going to run through 5 of them. And number 1 on the list is going to be berries. So berries are these beautiful little fruits that are packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Most common berries that are around are going to be strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. So berries contain a special antioxidant that's called anthocyanins. And this compound has an anti-inflammatory effect on our body, which can help to reduce disease. So there was a study done on blueberry powder where individuals consumed it every single day. And what they found is that they produce significantly more natural killer cells than those individuals who didn't have blueberry powder every day. And so what happens is your body actually naturally makes these natural killer cells, and they help to improve our immune system and keep it running and functioning properly. So adding some berries in can reduce disease, inflammation, and increase this natural killer cells. Also, there was a study done on adults who had excess weight, and those who consumed strawberries had lower levels of certain inflammatory markers that were associated with heart disease. And so easy to add in a few berries. You take out some of those refined carbohydrates or those refined sugars, add in some berries for the sweetness. So number 2 on our list is going to be fatty fish. And fatty fish are going to be filled with these beautiful omega-3s that help to decrease inflammation and arthritic pain in the body. And the best sources of that, of fatty fish, will be things like salmon, mackerel, herring, also sardines, so you can throw those in. And what they are filled with is going to be tons of this EPA and also DHA fats. Now, EPA and DHA help to reduce that inflammation, and which may otherwise lead to metabolic disease or syndrome, heart disease, things like diabetes and kidney disease. And your body, what it does is it metabolizes these fatty acids into compounds that are called resolvins and protectins. And those compounds have an anti-inflammatory effect on our body. What's cool is that studies have found that people consuming salmon or any of those fatty fish, mackerel, sardines, herring that I mentioned, and have an increased load of EPA and DHA, they have experienced reductions in our C-reactive protein, which is CRP, in our inflammatory marker in our body. So just adding some good fatty fish into your daily or even just weekly dietary plan is going to increase those good omega-3s and decrease that inflammation. So number 3 on our list is going to be broccoli. And broccoli is extremely nutritious. I know this isn't the first time you've heard that, but it's a cruciferous vegetable, so it fits in the family with cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, and research has found that cruciferous vegetables is associated with decreased heart risk and heart disease or cancer. Now, broccoli is filled with something called sulforaphane, and this sulforaphane is an antioxidant that decreases inflammation by reducing the levels of cytokines in your body. And those cytokines are molecules that drive inflammation. So you eat more broccoli and that decreases cytokines and that decreases inflammation in the body. So it's pretty easy to add some broccoli in, or even other cruciferous vegetables. I mean, if you don't like broccoli, which is the most nutritious one of all of them, you can try some cauliflower or Brussels sprouts, right? Easy to add in when you're taking out, remember, those ultra-processed foods that are going to increase inflammation in your body. Now, number 4 on our list is going to be avocados. Now, avocados are packed with potassium, magnesium, fiber, and wonderful monounsaturated fats. And all of those things help to decrease inflammation in the body. They also contain something called carotenoids and tocopherols, which are linked to reducing the risk of cancer. Now, in addition to all of these wonderful things, there are compounds in these avocados that actually reduce inflammation by forming new skin cells. Avocados are packed with wonderful nutrition, things like magnesium, potassium, fiber, and monounsaturated fats. And in addition, they have a compound in avocados that actually reduce the inflammation in newly forming skin cells. And they contain carotenoids and tocopherols, which have been shown to decrease cancer risk. Now, there was a study done on individuals who ate avocados for 12 weeks. And they found that these people reduce their inflammatory markers, which is that CRP I was talking about. So by adding in some avocado daily, weekly, that's going to, again, help decrease inflammation in the body or decrease arthritic pain. Now, easy to add in avocados. Guacamole is one fun way. Putting avocados on our toast with an egg, yum. So easy to add it in, and it's wonderful fats for all of our cells as well. Now, food number 4 on our list for the day is mushrooms. And this probably isn't something that you've commonly thought of when you're thinking of inflammation, but mushrooms are great for reducing it. And there's tons of different kinds of mushrooms out there, right? So there's portobello, there's truffles, there's shiitake mushrooms. And what makes them so amazing is that they contain phenols and other antioxidants that help decrease inflammation because it has that anti-inflammatory protection. Now, one special mushroom, which is called the lion's mane, has potentially the ability to reduce low-grade inflammation related to obesity. So if you like mushrooms, go get a bucket of them or a container of them, right? Throw them on your salad, throw them in your stir fries, and eat them up because those are wonderful for decreasing that inflammation in the body. Now, number 5 on our list is dark chocolate and cocoa. Now, yum, and we can easily add that in, right? So what makes dark chocolate and cocoa so amazing to decrease inflammation in the body? Well, it is packed with antioxidants, and they all help in reducing this inflammation. Now, what makes chocolate so amazing is the flavonols in it. And flavonols are responsible for chocolate's anti-inflammatory effects. And they help keep our endothelial cells in our body that line our arteries super healthy. Now, one fun fact, there was a study done that took people who consumed 350 milligrams of cocoa flavonols twice daily. It actually decreased improved their vascular function in just 2 weeks. So just one more reason to sit down with a couple ounces of chocolate and enjoy it. You're increasing your vascular health as well as decreasing inflammation in the body. Now, you might be thinking, well, I like chocolate, but can I have milk chocolate? The best is going to be, somewhere around that 70 to 80% cocoa. And that's where you're really going to get that big increase in anti-inflammatory effect. So keep in mind, these are 5 that we talked about today, but of course, just having a well-balanced diet with lots of good proteins, healthy fats, and healthy carbohydrates are going to keep you less inflamed no matter what. But adding in these foods we spoke of today might just give you a little edge.